Hey everyone, welcome back to another video for the channel and to yet another episode where the Chinese motorcycle industry turns the world upside down. If you still think Asian brands are synonymous with questionable quality and basic technology, what you're about to see is going to make you rethink everything. Today we're talking about the Vogue 625 DSX, the mid-displacement adventure trail bike that has arrived to shake up one of the most competitive segments in the global market. And when we say competitive, we mean it. This motorcycle has to prove itself against historically iconic rivals like the Honda NX 500, the Kawasaki Versys 650, the Suzuki V-Strom 650 XT, and the Yamaha Tenere 700. Bikes with decades of hard-earned reputation, with loyal communities across all 5 continents, and with price tags that in many cases double what Vogue is asking for this machine. And that's exactly where the conversation we need to have today begins. Because the 625 DSX isn't a bike trying to survive quietly in that ecosystem. It's a proposal that arrives with solid technical arguments, ready to take the competition apart. So guys, stick around until the end, because in this video, I'll tell you its official retail price, its most important mechanical features, its full specifications, and everything you need to know about this motorcycle on the market. Let's get into it! Before we talk numbers, let's talk presence. Because the Vogue 625 DSX has it. And in the adventure trail world, that's not a small detail. At first glance, this bike commands attention with its robust silhouette. The duckbill front fairing, perfectly integrated into the bodywork, generous fenders, standard engine guards, and high-profile spoke wheels all communicate exactly what this motorcycle wants to say. That it's ready for any scenario, from a European highway to a dirt track in the Andes or the Sahara. The large volume fuel tank, seamlessly blended into the front fairing, gives it a sense of balanced mass and visual coherence that very few brands manage to pull off at this price point. The manually adjustable windscreen, with 2 riding positions, isn't just an accessory, it's part of the bike's design language. The full LED optics with integrated DRL daytime running lights and front fog lamps give it a sharp, modern face that has absolutely nothing to envy from European rivals costing several thousand euros more. It comes in 2 colorways, black and sand, both finished with a level of quality that communicates seriousness and solidity. Behind all of this is Vogue, the premium brand of Chinese giant Lansin, one of the largest engine manufacturers in the world, with high-standard production facilities and decades of powertrain engineering experience. Vogue Iberica serves as the official distributor for the Spanish and European markets, and the brand backs every new unit with a full 5-year warranty, which says a great deal about the confidence the manufacturer places in the quality of its products. On the mechanical side, this model is powered by a 581 cubic centimeter inline twin-cylinder engine with a 270-degree firing order that delivers a more energetic throttle response and a stronger sense of torque available throughout the entire rev range. The architecture is DOHC, dual overhead camshafts with 4 valves per cylinder, fed by EFI electronic fuel injection and liquid-cooled with an oil heat exchanger, ensuring stable operating temperatures even under the most demanding conditions. The bore measures 76 millimeters, the stroke 64 millimeters, and the compression ratio is set at 11.5 to 1, figures that clearly point to an engine tuned for progressive response and sustained performance. Peak power is officially rated at 64 horsepower at 9,000 revolutions per minute, and maximum torque reaches 57 Newton-meters at 6,500 revolutions per minute. These numbers aren't just competitive in the segment, they actually outgun direct rivals like the Honda NX 500, which declares 44 horsepower, and go toe-to-toe with the Kawasaki Versys 650 at 67 horsepower, but at a significantly lower price point. The engine is a structural part of the chassis, integrated into it to add rigidity to the overall assembly without adding dead weight. The transmission is a 6-speed gearbox with a wet multi-disc clutch, which also incorporates a slipper clutch system, making downshift transitions during dynamic riding smoother and preventing unwanted rear-wheel lockup. The bike is Euro 5 Plus homologated, the most stringent emissions standard currently in force across Europe. Official fuel consumption is rated at just 3.8 liters per 100 kilometers, and combined with a 17.6-liter tank, That gives a theoretical range of close to 460 kilometers, a figure that any long-distance rider will deeply appreciate. Wet weight comes in at 206 kilograms, with a dry weight of 194 kilograms. Highly competitive numbers for a fully equipped mid-displacement dual sport of this caliber. As for top speed, various specialist outlets place it at around 180 kilometers per hour, more than enough for any conventional road or highway use, with plenty of headroom left for the more spirited rides. The chassis package of the Voge 625 DSX is where the brand has clearly decided not to cut corners, and it shows. The suspension carries the Kayaba signature, one of the global reference names in high-performance motorcycle suspension components. Up front, there's a 41mm fully inverted fork, fully adjustable in spring preload and hydraulic rebound, with 174mm of travel, a component typically associated with motorcycles in a much higher price bracket. At the rear, a Kayaba monoshock with a separate gas reservoir, mounted on a progressive linkage system, delivers 181mm of travel and is fully adjustable in preload, rebound, and compression. This setup allows the rider to genuinely tune the chassis behavior to their weight, terrain type, and riding style, adapting the bike effectively to any situation. Ground clearance sits at 220mm, a highly relevant figure for riders who plan to leave the tarmac on a regular basis. The braking system is signed by Nissan, another top-tier name in sport braking. Up front, dual floating 298mm discs bitten by twin-piston calipers. At the rear, a 240mm disc with a single piston caliper. The ABS system is dual-channel, powered by Bosch technology, and most importantly, it's fully switchable on both wheels independently. That's a decisive advantage for off-road use, where rear ABS can become a liability rather than an asset. The wheels are cross-laced, tubeless-ready spoke rims, 19 inches at the front, 17 inches at the rear, fitted as standard with Metzeler Tourance mixed-use tires. The combination of tubeless technology with spoke wheels is a premium trait highly valued in the trail world. It allows tubeless tires to be mounted, makes roadside repairs easier, and preserves the off-road capability of the whole package. Seat height comes in at 835mm, an accessible figure that keeps the bike manageable for a wide range of rider heights. Wheelbase is set at 1,465mm, 15mm longer than its predecessor, the 525 DSX, delivering greater stability at speed and over undulating tarmac. If there's one area where the Voge truly exceeds all expectations for its price segment, it's in its technology package. And what we're about to describe is not what you'd expect from a mid-range motorcycle. This is the standard you'd normally find on adventure bikes with larger displacements and price tags far, far higher. On the instrument cluster, you get a 7-inch full-color IPS LCD screen with high-resolution display. Bluetooth connectivity comes standard, allowing you to pair your smartphone for basic turn-by-turn navigation, incoming call notifications, and handlebar-mounted controls for key information. The screen shows in real time your current gear, fuel level, tire pressure on both wheels via TPMS sensors, ambient temperature, instant and average fuel consumption, battery voltage, and all your standard trip data. The 625 DSX also offers two selectable riding modes, Standard and Sport. Standard mode softens throttle response for urban environments, winding roads, or wet conditions, while Sport mode unlocks the engine's most direct and immediate response. Ideal for open stretches and a more dynamic riding style. Traction control is fully switchable, letting the rider choose their level of electronic intervention based on terrain and personal preference. The Emergency Stop Signal System, ESS, activates flashing warning signals to alert vehicles behind you whenever hard braking is detected. Among the comfort features that you rarely see standard at this price point, the 625 DSX includes heated grips and a heated rider's seat, systems that are especially appreciated in cold climates or high-altitude mountain routes. On top of all that, you also get a factory-fitted HD front-facing camera, letting you record every ride without any external accessories. A center stand comes standard for easy maintenance and stable parking, along with integrated handlebar handguards, adjustable levers, a factory luggage rack, and both USB and 12-volt power outlets for charging devices on the move. Taken together, the technology package is simply extraordinary for the price, and in many respects, it outperforms what Japanese and European rivals are offering at this level. Let's talk numbers, because this is where the 625 DSX does the most serious damage to its rivals. The official retail price in Spain and across the European market is €6,600, available in either of its two versions: full power, with 64 horsepower, and low power, electronically limited to 47 horsepower for A2 license holders. And that alone is a significant competitive advantage. The same motorcycle works for the rider who just earned their A2 license and for the experienced rider who wants the full 64 horsepower with no restrictions whatsoever. On top of that, the commercial offer includes 5 years of warranty and 1 year of motorcycle insurance included, which pushes the real value of this package even further. Add the complete set of branded side cases and top case, and the price rises to approximately €7,600, which still represents outstanding value for a fully adventure-ready trail bike. Now let's put that into context against the direct competition. The Honda NX500, one of the absolute benchmarks of the A2 segment in Europe, retails at around €6,800, with 46 horsepower, 193 kilograms, and a technology package that is noticeably more basic than the Vogue. The Kawasaki Versys 650, with 67 horsepower and a reputation built over many years, starts at €9,000 in its better-equipped versions. And the Yamaha Tenere 700, the reference point for mid-displacement adventure bikes, with its 689 cubic centimeter single-cylinder engine and 73 horsepower, starts at €11,000. In terms of price to equipment to performance ratio, the Vogue 625 DSX occupies a truly privileged position in this segment. More powerful than the Honda NX500, better equipped than the Benelli TRK 702X, cheaper than the Kawasaki Versys 650, and the Yamaha Tenere 700, and with a technology package that none of its rivals at that price point can match. Add to that the manufacturing solidity of Lonsine as a parent company, a distribution network that continues to grow worldwide every day, and those 5 years of warranty, and the commercial case for this motorcycle becomes very hard to argue against. And we've reached the moment of conclusions. The Voge 625 DSX is, without beating around the bush, one of the most complete and best-argued proposals the mid-displacement adventure trail segment has seen in years. What it offers for its price is simply hard to ignore. A powerful parallel twin engine, fully adjustable Kayaba suspension with long travel stroke, Nissin brakes with switchable Bosch ABS on both wheels, Metzeler tires on tubeless spoked rims, a 7-inch Bluetooth display with navigation, riding modes, switchable traction control, an HD camera, heated grips and heated seat, center stand, handguards, a factory luggage rack, and 5 years of warranty. All of that for €6,600. The adventure trail market has never seen an offer this complete at that price, and that is an objective fact that the competition simply cannot ignore. Time will tell whether long-term reliability lives up to the declared performance figures, and that remains the only argument the competition can still make with full legitimacy. But what is clear is that the conversation has changed, and the Voge 625 DSX is a fundamental part of that change. If you're looking for your next adventure trail bike and you have a budget somewhere between €5,000 and €8,000, this motorcycle deserves to sit at the very top of your shortlist. If this video has been useful to you, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single review. Ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.